just touched on a great point that it is not just about us LGBT people during Pride Month. And our next speaker is a mother and a staunch ally. So Nicole Gracia, please come up.
Yay! That's my wife!
Okay, so I have to apologize first. Oh, I'm not good at microphones. I have this written on my iPad. I need my phone for something. You'll figure that out in a minute. Because if I don't read this right now, I'm gonna cry probably through the entire thing. So, I wish I could just talk off the cuff like Janice, but I can't do that because I'm overly emotional. My name is Nicole Gracia, and I'm very excited to be here with you tonight celebrating Pride in Marshfield. Before I start emotionally rambling on, I want to thank everyone who planned tonight's event. I think we can all agree that Pride in Marshfield, the energy is growing in leaps and bounds. Sean Costello, Steve Darcy, Dan Hassett, and James Cuxtis, you are helping to pave the way forward to a more inclusive community, and the positive ripple effects for the people of Marshfield will be felt for years to come. Thank you.
Yeah!
Last week, Sean asked me to speak tonight about raising LGBTQIA children, and I've been racking my brain ever since. So many stories and experiences to share. I had fitfully written 2 or 3 pages last night that just didn't quite feel right. But then finally, my head rested on a song, as it often does. So we're going to revisit some lyrics tonight from a song by The Pretenders. Given the reason for tonight's event, you may already have an inkling as to what song it is, but bear with me as I take us through some of the words that resonate with my experience as a parent of 4 children, one of whom identifies as bisexual, and one who identifies as gender fluid and bisexual.
Yeah!
You know the song?
No, what is it?
There's always a wise guy in the crowd. My family's over there breathing a sigh of relief that technology saved all of us from hearing my vocal cords belt those out. No, I am tone deaf according to my children.
She is! It's true!
Back in March of 2019, I was home with our 3rd child, who had been sick the night before. Typical sick from school day, we were hanging out on the couch, binge watching something on Netflix, when suddenly the air in the room and tension was palpable. My child was staring at their phone, looking lost, confused, and brokenhearted. Bursting into tears, they explained that they had recently come out to a friend, and unfortunately, the news was not well received. Here was our bubbly, happy-go-lucky kid, completely destroyed right in front of my eyes. My mind was racing as my long-held suspicions about this beautiful human were confirmed in the most heartbreaking way possible. My memories of that conversation and the several that followed are fuzzy, but I can't seem to erase the look on their face as they said, "This is my life now. Someday a baker will refuse to make me a cake because of who I am." That's the dark side right there. And more than anything, I wish I could eradicate all of that darkness for them. Moving on, I have a lot of kids, so this might take a while. Have you ever had one of those moments with your kid when you know they are so close to telling you something and yet they just don't. 3 of our 4 kids are teens, so these days those moments are frequent. I don't ride roller coasters, but honestly, I don't think any coaster at our fair could compare to raising a teen. There are times that are filled with incredible joy, and then there are the worry-filled, anxiety-driven times when you feel like you just don't know who this person is anymore. This person who used to look up to you with those big eyes, their hearts just shining through. They now look directly into your eyes, or in my just over 5 feet case, down at you, and you are tormented by the fact that you have absolutely no idea what's going on in their minds anymore. My kids and I have a habit of staying up late into the night talking. Lots of laughs and often some pretty deep discussions are had. A few weeks ago, I was lucky enough to get one of my kids on his own, the one who keeps to himself. We call him the man of few words. So to have him all to myself for over an hour, it was amazing. We talked about politics, current events, and LGBTQIA issues in the news. And then our conversation took an unexpected turn. I could feel it. There was an undercurrent to his words that filled the air between us. We were on the edge of something new, something at the time I had never expected, but suddenly the clues were right there in front of me. I could tell he wasn't ready to say the words out loud. I let it hang there between us. I knew it would only be a matter of time. A couple of weeks later, when everything had risen to the surface, I asked him, "Why didn't you just tell me that night?" His response was one that was born from our parenting. He said, "To me, coming out feels like it makes it less normal." Less normal. Because you see, he knows there's nothing less normal about it. Right then and there, I knew that all of the times we made it clear to our kids that we didn't assume they were heterosexual or that they ever needed to make some kind of announcement to us sunk in. We had succeeded in forging that bond. This makes the apology for being straight from my oldest come full circle. Imagine an 8-year-old locking eyes with you through the rearview mirror of the car and saying, "Mom, I'm really sorry, but I think I like girls." In our house, that was a parent win. As Jesse Tyler Ferguson of Modern Family said to Ellen recently about his new baby boy, "We're raising him gay until he decides he's straight." Why not? Let's flip the narrative, right? There's nothing less normal about who you love. I'm so happy that our son gets this, really gets it, and has now decided to let us come along with him on his journey. I'm almost done, I promise. Last summer, our 3rd child, the heartbroken middle schooler I spoke of initially, started talking a great deal about gender. They were questioning. They were confused. At times, they were depressed. When they weren't ready to dive in holding hands with us, they hinted. We waited patiently on the edge of the pool. No matter how deep or dark these waters were, we wanted in too. Sometimes we were allowed to dip our toes in, but that was as far as they were willing to let us. And we knew we couldn't just reach in and pull them out of it. They were in it, and we were desperately waiting for an invitation to join. Finally, it was during one of our late night hangouts that we all dove in together. They had worked out that identifying as gender fluid just felt right, and were ready to swim those waters with us by their side. Pronouns were shared and respected, and from that came such growth. No longer were they doggy paddling their way around the pool. They were stronger, more confident, and ready to show their true self. They knew without a doubt that we were right there, swimming beside them, and that they would never be on their own. Oh, I hear you. I'll never forget the moment my first child was handed to me. I thought I was ready for this, prepared for this new role. I'd always loved kids. I chose to spend my life around them as an educator. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea the love that would take over. It was overwhelming. My husband is still salty at my first words as a mom. Holding our first little bundle and staring at him in awe, I said, I have never loved anything as much as I love this.
Yeah, it sucked. I'm her husband.
Told you, he still has a problem with it. And that hasn't changed. 3 more kids and 19 years as a parent, and nothing has changed. Except, I probably love them just a little bit more as the days pass. We love everything about them, unconditionally, always, and forever. And most importantly, they know that. And for that, I am beyond grateful.
I'll stand by you. Don't let anyone hurt you. I'll stand by you.